Glad to have you join us now. And on to our next discussion. The judiciary has been under fire over alleged corrupt practices by some members of the bench.
Now, a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Libros Oshoma, joins us now to discuss the background checks that President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered to be carried out on Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal judges nominated by the National Judicial Council last year before the names are forwarded to the Senate for confirmation. Now, it's good to have you join us, Libros. Now, let me say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Even though we're a little above 1 week into the new year now. But the president ordering for a background check to judges nominated, is there anything new in this, in the call for a background check to be carried out on nominated judges?
Nothing new.
Okay.
I would have expected also that before these judges are nominated, judges designated are nominated, or before their names are forwarded to the president, I would have expected that a committee set up to recruit, such persons would have also done their background check on them. Even though, if you look at the provisions of the Constitution on appointment of judges, starting from section 238 all the way down to 271, it just says that for you to be appointed, Court of Appeal, you must be a qualified lawyer and have been practicing for, be so qualified for 12 years. Then for High Court to the Federal High Court, the State High Court, then the High Court of the FCT and the National Industrial Court, all you must have been practicing for 10 years. But if you look at the regulations, the NJC regulations for appointments of judges, it spells out, all the hurdles that you must cross. And one of such hurdles for me, it's that you must be a fit and proper person. We use that word always.
Fit and proper.
Yes, even in law school, for you to be qualified to be called to the Nigerian bar, you must be fit and proper. Fit and proper defined only by the Council of Legal Education. And it's not just in learning, like you say in the university, must be in character.
In learning and character.
Okay.
In learning.
But before you go ahead, talk to us about the fit and character. What does that really portend? What's that supposed to project?
What it entails is that you must be fit, upstairs.
Mentally and psychologically.
Mentally and psychologically, and then you must be, a proper person, properly so called. Okay. And
prim and proper.
Yes, not the fact that you just pass the bar exam and then automatically you're therefore called to the bar.
Okay.
There are also requirements that you must meet in terms of behavior, in terms of dressing, in terms of
etiquette and uprightness.
And so if you take that also to the appointment of judges, one would expect a higher level of being fit and proper. And so it's not out of place. And also, generally, if you look at overview of all of this, what is expected that every appointment, every person that is to be appointed, into any office, not just, the judiciary now, there must be a background check on such persons, not just in Nigeria. If you've lived abroad before, even in the Nigerian police, one even expect a higher level of background check in security agencies and the legal profession than any other job. So it's not.
But we're always told that the judiciary, of course, is a special angle of governance in any country, and then of course the Nigerian judiciary always tells Nigerians that. So is it that the president doesn't trust the NJC to carry out these background checks? Because we understand that, yes, he's supposed to carry out his own due diligence on its nominees.
No, it has nothing to do with trust. So, so that we don't introduce politics into, these are regular, day-to-day activities in governance. So if it's like, it's like an agency recruiting for an organization. Okay. The agency will carry out its background checks, and and then the organization also owes a duty to itself to do a background check on the names recommended to it for employment. So it's the same, maybe because the president voiced it out. And so now, you know, there's so much hue and cry about it, as if, you know, all of these had not been, you know, the usual practice. But
I asked
also,
that because of some of the judges being looked into by EFCC, and the EFCC being told that it should stay off investigation, that NJC should carry that out.
That's where I'm going to now. Also, there's need, that's why I said there's need for a thorough background check, because as a judge, you are supposed to be, you are compared, you know, to a semi-god. And that's why we address them as milords. You know, so you're like my late professor Dio Ahe would say, your ideas are supposed to be up in the heavens. And you're not just an ordinary person. And so when you sit, like Lord Dennis said, when you sit on trial, you are on trial. And so your behavior is supposed to be unblemished. And so that's why in appointing people, I had at several fora query the way we appoint judges. In some cases, mind you, you have some fantastic judges in Nigeria that they can stand their own anywhere in the world. You know, but in the same vein, this idea of nepotism, man, no man, the bearer is from me, please, he would cope, you know, attitude, and then having to look the other way, not wanting to go the whole hog, has led us to where we are, where you have, you know, judges who just want to bear the name judges, some who, you know, are lackadaisical to the job, and then that breeds corruption, looking for opportunity, seeing the office as an office to enrich themselves. And so now is the time, if we truly to, you know, there's a way you can start. If you say, okay, look, the ones that are already there, there's nothing, if there's nothing we can do about it. But the new ones that are coming, we should ensure that, you know, there's a higher level, there's a higher standard, there's a higher regulations to ensure that those people that we admit into the bench are people that are people who are not of questionable character.
Well,
because even if you look at, the recommendations of the NJCs also, members of the NJC, you always hear, you look at the Constitution, there's always that recurring word in the opinion of the appointer who are not of questionable character. You know, so also, if for you to form an opinion on somebody, you must do a background check to ensure that these people are not of questionable character. I expected a thorough background check from the NJC. I also expected a thorough background check from the executive president. So it's not out of place to say.
We recently the disgraceful and embarrassing situation where names of people who have died appeared on the list of appointees for boards and parastatals. A chairman, member board of parastatals could also give credence to this as well.
Because then it's the federal government that committed that error.
That's what I'm saying.
How do you justify it?
That's what I'm saying. It's embarrassing. So they have to do diligence this time.
If we had bothered to do a background check, that embarrassment would have been avoided.
Right.
There's a committee that compiled those names. It wouldn't be out of place to even place a call to each and every one of such candidates. I expected also that for you to be nominated, you know, CVs must have been submitted, you know, with your biodatas and information. And so there's need for.
So it's not like anything secret where we want to surprise you by an appointment.
No. Even if they want to surprise you, there's need also to at least interface with you.
Because somebody recommended you.
Exactly, because it's not, we shouldn't see appointments as, you know, compensatory. It's a job. And so there's need in some cases to interview these people, go through security checks. You know, there's also to go through, there's need also, that's why for me, I think we need to expand the scope of our security agency and our financial regulatory agencies. There's need also to go through the account details of some of these persons to find out their financial dealings. You know, at this person at some point, for the fact that you have not been caught, does not mean that you probably had not done, you know, shady deeds. If you go through the accounts the nominees, you probably all of this, you know, would be revealed. And so not until they get into office and you now begin to say, oh, we should have done a background
and even
check.
in some instances, accounts of members of the family.
Yeah,
because we've heard cases where the children and their wives and relatives, brothers and sisters are used.
That's why when in such cases, when such members are interviewed, one would expect them to list out their, you know, family members, and, you know, this part of the process. You know, let's be thorough. You know, so like the issue you raised, even if they were 3,000 or 5,000, you know, nothing stops us from doing it right. Ensuring that they go through all the, you know, little details. So if you say those that are there now, we always complain about the civil service, the judiciary, the police, everybody. But if you say those that are there now cannot be cleaned, the ones you're bringing on board, if there's a different process for bringing them, you probably, you know, be able to make a difference. So 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 8 years from now, you have a new set, you know, and then you would also have set a standard for doing it subsequently. But when you allow all of this and then you trade blames, oh, it came from the opposition, or don't blame government, or don't complain, it's just an oversight. 8 names, you know, cannot be an oversight. And that's why I am commending the government for insisting that a background check must be done. And I commend them, but it shouldn't be something we celebrate as if, oh, look, we are doing it right now. It's usually, you know,
it's a job that needs to be done.
So that also we avoid such embarrassment where you hear names of judges appointed and then they say, oh, 2 that died 3 years ago.
And talking about such embarrassment, apart from, yes, the background checks story, accompanying it is that the NJC also recommended Justices Adini Adimola and Shegun Tokode for compulsory retirement. And that of Justice Tokode is quite interesting, that he lied he lied to FJA, the Federal Judicial Service Commission, and NJC, that he conducted about 6 judgments while he was a lawyer to be appointed as a Federal High Court judge.
If background check had been done on all of those statements that he made in his application form, they wouldn't have even gotten to a situation where you appoint him and now, you know, recommending him for dismissal. But because we fail to do the right thing, there are situations where even people lawyers will mutilate law reports of cases that they were not party to, and to give the impression that they handled those cases at the Court of Appeal and at the Supreme Court, because they know that, you know, background checks are not done in such cases.
Really, to clarify, because it was Serap and a civil servant or so that brought this to the notice of the NJC. Not even that NJC found out. Because
we gloss over these things. I had expected that once you submit such applications stating that I handled such matter, 5 cases, they need to go further. What is the suit number of those cases? If it's in a law report, you have
there are records of all.
So these are judges. There should be records, even if it's 30 years ago. There are records. There should be records to cross-check if these facts are actually correct. And so, if for somebody who is so desperate to be appointed to lie and manipulate figures, facts, it's akin to, you know, perjury. And so, even at that level of appointment, once it is discovered, there's need to recommend such person for prosecution. So, serve as a deterrent to other desperate people. So, why would somebody be desperate to want to be a judge, for example? You know, so when you allow such things to, you know, you look the other way, the man gets there, that's his lifestyle. And he attained that position through that process, and
he will perpetrate it.
Exactly.
Of course, he's going to perpetrate it.
So we have consistently looked the other way. Even from what I hear, if anything I hear, is I've not verified that also, that one of the magistrates that was dismissed in Lagos State in 1999, was it 2000, when Yemi Oshibanjo was the AG, is among those that were recommended for appointment as judges. You know, there's need for us to truly go the whole hog. I wonder what the NJC was doing. There was also, last year, we had cause to campaign against a particular lady whose name was removed from the rolls of solicitors in London for fraudulent activities, and somehow found her name
exactly
in among those to be appointed as the Federal High Court judges in Nigeria. So we went online, published all, you know, the report of the Metropolitan Police in the UK. So government, the EFCC, the Nigerian police, the DSS, there's need to empower them and equip them properly to go the whole hog, to you know, ensure that background check, very necessary. Background check. Why do you need referrals if you're not going to do background check? I say I attended a university, and the professor of that university is one of my referees, and there is no call made to that professor. There's no attempt to even visit that school to check
the records.
Truly. Let me give you an instance. Do you know if you apply to be a resident in one of these foreign countries, before you are granted that residence, they will ensure that your record are sent down to the embassies here, and they will employ a lawyer that you probably don't know. And that lawyer must do a background check. There is a score sheet. Would have to visit your village, as far as your village, to find out if truly you're from that same place that you said you're from, what your behavior is like. This one is not an employment just to give you residence. And not to talk of somebody who is to be appointed, you know, in
public service.
At
least we remember the due diligence. We remember the Toronto scandal in 1999.
Public affairs commentator, yes, and lawyer, Libros Oshoma. Thank you for coming. And thank you for your analysis.
Thank you very much. Yeah.